morning, good afternoon, and good night. My name is Mar Fikes Jr. This is Become the Podcast. How do you become anything? You dream, you declare, you commit, and success is your next breath. So on the phone with me, I have my good friend, Rob Anshila. He's a pro basketball player playing basketball overseas. And I'll tell you a quick story how I met Rob and how we became, I guess how we went from being a client, how he went from being a client to being a friend. I saw him when he was really, really young, coming out of high school, and specimen, 6'7", long arms, good body, strong athlete or whatnot, and saw him playing. He would come to the gym every now and then and play, and so never really knew how old he was because he was so mature and his body looked a certain way. So I never really knew how mature he was. Hold on one sec. This is him calling back because his phone died. Rob, you there?
You're talking about going from being a client to the
Yeah. So I'm in the process of telling that. So Rob's phone, the line, he's calling. He's out of the country, so he's calling from quite a ways away, and so the line dropped. But anyway, never really knew how old Rob was, and so I would always see him come to the gym when he would come to Concordia and play open gym, and time just kept moving on, and finally I was at another gym. Kind of working out, and he came through, and I said, "Hey, listen, man, I would like for you to come work out with me." And so Rob was kind of hesitant to do so, and then finally I got him to come to the gym and saw what I was doing, and to making sure that we were taking care of the athlete's body, but also taking care of their basketball game. And so from there, it started every summer. For I think the last 3 or 4 years, it seems like something like that. Rob's been coming to the gym with me, and this last summer it got really crazy because he would call me on Saturday mornings to come work out at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, just for him, and I would get up and do it. And so we've shared a lot of stories and talked a lot. But and I'm Rob, I'm gonna bring you on in a split second. But Rob was at a basketball camp, and we asked Rob to come talk to our basketball camp, and he told us a story about all the struggles and all the highs and lows, the peaks and valleys that he went through to play the game of basketball. And I fell in love with this story. I talked to other athletes who want to go play pro ball, guys who are playing pro ball, athletes who are playing pro ball, and it's not as always cool as it may appear. And so I tell them Rob's story to encourage them that if you really love this, you'll endure. And if you are willing to endure, what's on the other side may be exhilarating. It may be picture perfect. It may be awesome. And so I look at Rob's experience now in Australia. Is it Austria or Australia?
Australia.
So I look at what Rob's doing in Australia now, and I see how much fun he's having, but I know how tough it was leading up to that. And so Rob, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, feeling blessed.
So I'm always clowning you because I'm like, you do more chilling than you do hooping, according to what I see on Instagram. And you like, no, I'm working, man. And I see you guys are doing really well. Are you guys still undefeated?
Yeah. Currently, we're undefeated. We're putting in work. We're 4-0 right now, and something real different. Our team's never had this happen before in the establishment, so we're doing something special. Doing something real special right now.
So I clown you a lot, but I know how hard you work, and I know you're 30 years old. You're 30 plus, right?
Yeah, I'm 32 now. Hey, and those are all team sanctioned functions, by the way.
Well,
I mean, those are all team outings. So.
Okay, so you have to be there, right?
Well, not technically, but it's encouraged.
Well, the thing that I'm impressed by is that at 32, you're jumping high, catching lobs, dunking on people, windmilling in games, and this is you at 32, and you're still in your prime, and you're extending that prime.
Yeah. Definitely taking care of my body, man. If I told you what I put in my smoothie this morning, almost every morning, You'll be like, what?
Well, look, tell us your story. Tell us your story starting from when you graduate high school. You're on your way to Wayne State, which is a NCAA Division II school in Detroit. Tell us everything that takes place after graduation, going to Wayne State University in Detroit.
Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey. A lot of people assume that I was highly recruited out of high school, or I had some kind of, prep schools, or just some kind of scouting that went on with me. But that's not the case. I actually was. I didn't play any AAU basketball until my senior year, and I got noticed literally my senior year in high school. And right after that happened, Coach Greer at Wayne State, he saw some potential in me. He saw that I was a raw athlete with just some talent, and he thought that I'd be a pretty good, well polished, college player. So I ended up getting over to Wayne State. Officially went over there to them, and that was the beginning right there. And taught me a lot. Basically, changed my mentality, showed me a lot more organization of how basketball played, individual training, the whole nine. School sessions, all that, man. And it was, it was pretty much one of the best times that I had when I was developing as a player for those few couple of years. But then, things weren't going the way that I expected it to. Ended up having to look to go to another school. Started bumping heads with the coaches a little bit. I felt like I deserved so much more, and I was better, and I was really impatient. But ended up leaving there and going to Fort Hays. So I traveled.
So double back. So you go from Wayne State to where?
To Fort Hays State University in Kansas.
Okay, so that's another 4-year institution, correct?
Yep, that's another 4-year institution.
And you stayed there for how long?
So I stayed there I redshirted, and then I played 2 years. So I stayed there for 3 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So I went from downtown Detroit to cornfields and, man, coyotes. It was wild. So that setting was it was okay. It taught the school, the university was amazing. The university for basketball, Division II, they're always top 5. We had a crowd of at least like 4,000 or 5,000 a night. That was pretty good for NCAA. So it got me to play like at a lot higher level in D2 basketball, and I didn't get that much playing time as well. So like the story continues. I'm still trying to find my place, still trying to find, where I can really showcase myself and really get after it. And so I finished up there my senior year, which was I was a 5th-year senior, averaging about 5.4 rebounds a game. And I just expected so much more of myself going out there. I had a rough stint during the school year. I was actually just training. I was getting up at 5 in the morning to train before I had class at 8. And sometimes I was showing up late to class, which you shouldn't do. But my drive, what I was going for was just something was changing inside of me. So moving on from that, what really got me to the professional standpoint.
Well, hold on. Let's go back, because there's a part of that story that's always cool, and you went into a lot more detail. I know you want to be efficient and you want to be clean in our conversation, but you told me at the camp that you would, while you were actually in season, you would go to the rec and work out and play against them. So you would either go to practice and you would go work out, go to practice, and then go back to the rec and kill them. So you would go hard in practice, then you would go to the rec and play some more. So like you were, that's not highly suggested for a scholarship athlete to play.
No. It became a little bit, I became a little bit more than obsessed. Like I said, I was averaging 5 points, wasn't getting playing time, and I thought it was something with me, so I wanted to leave no day. Coach called me into the office one day, man, and he was like, Rob, he's like, come down here real quick. I was like, what's going on, Coach? Coach Johnson, he was like, so I heard some stories that you're at the rec center. I was like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, working out. He's like, man, you were going over there killing these guys, and we got practices. You got to take care of yourself. I'm like, well, I got to get better, Coach. And I looked at him straight in the face, and he just couldn't say anything. He knew that I was dead serious, but he was like, man, these guys are calling me up like, yo, you got this play, your cosplay down here, you're killing our dudes, man.
Yeah.
It's not normal who does that, but that was a determination I set in, man. It was a little bit off the wall, but shoot, hey, putting in work, man.
Yeah. But it goes to show, like, when you have tunnel vision, and when you want it bad enough, as silly as it sounds, as comic as like made for TV as it sounds, there's somebody out there really doing something that sounds like this is made for a TV script. So you mean to tell me you are so obsessed over the game of basketball that you're going to practice, you're going to work out in the mornings for individual stuff. Then you're going to practice, which is a 2-hour practice where I'm sure you're going hard. And then you're then going back to the rec to work on what you worked on earlier. It seems it's obsessive thought, but it's that obsessive thought that kind of distinguishes you from everybody else. It's like, I'm not, like you were saying, you didn't want to leave any room for anyone to doubt you, and this is what you have to do. And you didn't know what you were doing necessarily, but it's what you felt you had to do, and it eventually worked out. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when we want something so bad, we don't necessarily know the path to take. We just take a path and we just make it work, and that's what you were doing essentially.
Yeah, that's true. I honestly, he was like, my coach at times was like, yo, why am I not playing? What's going on? And then he's like, so after he heard about the rec story, he called me again. He's like, so Rob, he's like, yeah, you're working out. You're in the gym more than most of our guys. It's fine. We see that. Came at me real kind of condescending. But then he said to me, but you're not going gain speed. The reason why you're not there because you're not going gain speed. So what did I do now? Now I spent the whole next month, going extra hard at everything I was doing because he said I wasn't going gain speed. So every time I'm training now, I'm going 100 miles an hour. So, it's kind of mental because, after training with you, obviously you learn you got different tempos.
Yeah.
So now I learned out in my mind instinctively, I got to attack everything 100 miles an hour. So I learned to polish my game that way. We used to come back from 15-hour road trips, and I would go straight to the janitor and tell him to open the cage up and open the gym so I could grab the basketballs and work out. After we just had like a 2-3 day game road trip, so I could shoot that night at like 1 or 2 a.m. while everybody's out of the gym before I go home and go because I didn't get any clock, and I was going game speed, so it was ridiculous like that. But I didn't know what I needed to do, but I knew I needed to get there.
Yeah.
So just like you're saying, keep pushing. So that was pretty much my college experience, man. And then what a lot of guys don't know is I actually went to an exposure camp right before my senior year.
Okay.
And they actually credited me as saying like, yeah, I should go overseas now, but I had no film, no stats.
Yeah.
And no one was looking after me, so I still went back to my senior year. I used to tell my guys like, I'm gonna forego my senior year, man. College ain't for me. I should be overseas. But no one believed me.
Yeah.
So kept working, but senior year happened, finished it up, didn't get to play. Didn't start senior night, just devastated on some things, man. And other guys on the team getting all these accolades, all American, all conference, they're getting these awards, and I got nothing. I'm just like, man, this is ridiculous. I just worked so hard. And so the next thing I did, the phase that got me to get my first contract, I went to crazy exposure camps. I went to like 5 or 6 exposure camps around the U.S. from Vegas to Orlando to Toronto to Texas.
Yeah.
And my mom was actually the biggest supporter. She was helping me do all this stuff. Like I was working to save money for the stuff, and anything I couldn't get, she supported me on that.
Yeah.
She didn't know what I was doing, but she knew I was up to
Yeah.
Man, that summer was one of the best that I had, man. I MVP like 4 out of 6 of those camps.
Yeah.
And we're looking like, yo, who is this guy? He's beating out our D1 guys. He's beating out all our D2 guys. And that's when the look started coming in. And that's when I realized that, look, what I was doing, separating myself a little bit. And then when I got my first contract to Qatar, my teammates, you know, they started hitting me up from college, like, yo, Rob, who's your agent? How did you get on? And then this is when it was a turning point, is that my coach got in contact with me, and he's like, Rob, you're overseas right now in Qatar. We got our guys over here, man. You know, you play with them, they're your boys. Why aren't you helping them out? They're telling me that you're not helping them out. I looked at him, I said, but coach, they're the one with all the accolades. I thought they're supposed to why aren't you helping them out? Those are your guys, you know. I still threw them the plug just out of, you know, out of just heart and love, man. I still threw them a little plug, but like, you know, it's something crazy because they never got on anyways.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother story.
Well, I want to go back because you said it's funny how you were putting in all. It's funny how you were putting in all this work, and the work wasn't showing up the way you wanted to show up, but it did show up eventually. And again, it goes.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful life lesson that's why you got to work, even when things ain't going right. You still got to put the work in, and the work might not be showing up at that very moment, but you still got to believe in the work, especially if you're going hard. You know what I'm saying? You still got to believe in that work and know that work's going to pay off for you in the long run. And who knows what may have happened had you played really well for that coach, or who knows what may have happened if you got with the love that you had. Maybe you might not have worked so hard. Maybe if you've been getting all those minutes, you may not have, in those opportunities to play, you may not have been putting in that extra work to develop your cardio, to develop your body, to develop your shot, to develop your skill set, your confidence, your work ethic, and all these other things. And because of that, you know, it showed up in the past. And I like when you said what a turning point was, when the coach recognized what you had accomplished and what you were doing. And I'm thinking, the turning point is when you decided, I'm gonna do some 3-a-days by myself. That's the turning point.
Yeah.
But go ahead. So you're in Qatar. You're in Qatar.
Yeah.
You're playing. You're earning money, and you're doing your thing. And so, you know, and there's another point. There's another moment of challenge or adversity that hits. But talk to us about everything that leads up to that moment that I'm talking about, that you know that I'm getting to.
Yeah, so I'm over there in Qatar. I got my first deal. I got my first contract. We're rolling. We're pro basketball player now. You know, we got the deal. We got the checks coming in. You know, it's about to be all gravy. You know, I'm going to work my way into the NBA. I'm going to go to the top. And then I had that one bad game. The coach is like, hey, you have another bad game like this, you're going to get sent home. I was like, dang, I had 11 points. Like, you know, this is serious. That's a bad game. I'm getting, you know, plane ticket threat. So it was crazy. That's when I realized, like, man, I gotta put up numbers. So I averaged about 27 that first season, and you know, just kept putting in work. And we realized it's a business. You know, like this is performing, and you're not putting it up, and you're not there to perform every day that you put your suit on and you put your tie on and you clock in. Then you're not doing anything for them. So I had to get up on there, lace up every time, and go to work. But guitar was great. Then I went to Argentina, learned a lot of experiences from there. You know, still moving forward, still progressing. Came back, went to New Zealand, had a great experience out there. My best friend, you know, just still progressing, still moving on. You know, I'm thinking about D-League. I'm thinking about NBA. I'm thinking about, you know, all these high-level things. Like, we were playing against Adams from OKC while he was 17 years old. And
really?
Talking NBA. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a monster when he was 17 years old in New Zealand. Just progressing and moving on. And I wanted to get over a certain hump, and I thought that I got there after New Zealand. But then something happened, man. The next contract didn't come in fully, but I waited a while and it came through. I went to Uruguay. I got another gig in Saudi Arabia. Things are going smooth. That was like one of the biggest salaries I earned. Doing well in my career, man. Things are looking up still. I didn't get the NBA, but I figured that at this point I'm going to, try to keep pushing overseas.
Yeah.
For something big. I go back around to Qatar again in the next year. So, like, we're talking, like, year 4 into my career now?
Yeah.
And year 4 is a struggle. Something just, I was like, man, something needs to give. Going into year 5, man, it was, I went over to an academy in Spain, and I remember talking to you like, yeah, I got this, instead of doing camps here, I'm going to go overseas.
Yeah.
Basketball academy in Spain to get the job over there. And I was like, there are coaches and agents coming to there to watch us play. And then I got a month to myself. And you said to me, you got a month to prove yourself and they're watching you? He's like, I'll give you a week.
Yeah.
I was like, man, get out of here. You're like, I'll give you a week. I'll give you a week, 2 weeks tops, and you're out of there. I said, man, I appreciate you supporting me, Marv, but, I got work to do. I got a month I'm going to put in. Grind mode, I'm locked in. I get over there. After 3 days, they say, hey, you got to leave. I said, man, what? So it was Italy or Morocco. Morocco offered me this opportunity to make some good money and showcase myself for a team that was doing pretty well. So I'm thinking everything's great, man. And then this is, I get over there to Morocco, and they say, like, well, if this team doesn't work, we have 3 other teams that want to try you out as well, too. But that first team I went to in Morocco, they locked me in. They said, hey, Rob, you're not going nowhere. We want you to stay here. You're going to help us, take it to the championship. I didn't know at that point, though, that, a lot of commitments in basketball, they can be said and they can be put down on paper, but they can mean nothing.
Yeah.
And this is when you realize, sometimes, there's definitely something behind, I don't know how I could say, like legalities or
sure,
or contracts, that just isn't binding to some men.
Yeah.
So, man, we get there to Morocco. They start promising all these things. They start promising the accommodation. They promised, food. They promised, just Wi-Fi, just standard things, right? And 1 week goes by. It really wasn't there yet. 2 weeks go by, and they didn't have it, but they paid me my money for that month in advance. So they paid me a month in advance. I'm thinking, okay, this is cool. I'll keep it rolling. So another month goes by, and we're playing ball, we're winning. We won our first couple of games. We're traveling through places, man, and second month comes, my money's late, but I was like, no problem. They paid me the advance. We're still doing well, performing every game. We're winning. We're still undefeated. Third month comes by. They're about 2.5 weeks late on it. And I was like, all right, well, fine. We got some of the money. And little do I know, I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I'm in my third and a half month, and I've only been paid 1.5 times. I'm like, man, something isn't right now, man. Like, okay, these dudes are definitely late on everything. On my teammates, they were feeling the same way. And then the season progresses. We're going through. We're doing it excellent. We're above standard, man. And next thing you know, it's like we're 6 months in, and I've only been paid twice. And I'm just like, hey, you know what? This is done. No practice, no pay. No pay, no practice. Guys are sitting out from practice. I'm sitting out from practice. Players were nervous because they didn't want to get sent home because we need that contract. We need that money.
Yeah.
And I'm at that point where, like, I risk so much and I sacrifice so much just to get to Spain, just to make a turnaround in my career. And here I am dealing with this nonsense. Like, that whole tryout for me doing this was it. Yeah. And so it started weighing in on me. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, man, this can't be basketball, man. This can't be the way life and stuff should be going. So I'm not And then they're saying, well, you know what? You can't go. I'm like, what do you mean I can't go? I was like, give me my return tickets. Give me my ticket home. They're like, nah, we're not going to book your ticket. And second of all, you can't leave the country because you don't have an exit visa. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, you can't leave the country unless we give you the papers to leave. You go to the airport, you're going to get put in a police station. So go ahead and take this jersey, put this back on again and practice. I said, wait a minute. That's not even legal. And I'm sitting there like, yo, this doesn't make any sense. So I'm over here talking to my boy. And then I was like, yo, this is ridiculous, man. And then to make matters worse, man, we're going to the playoffs. You know, we're undefeated in the playoffs. There are other teams watching us, so the opportunity's there. So now I'm caught between being dragged out from a lifestyle and, you know, doing exceptionally well while I'm playing, but never getting my dues.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just, it's heartbreaking, man. It was heartbreaking. It was wrecking me. You know, I remember, was I able to get in touch with you at that time?
I don't think so, because I definitely wasn't doing, I don't think I was doing Instagram heavy. I don't know if we were doing Facebook Messenger, anything like that. I think I think I may have got word that you were coming home, and then, you know what, maybe that was the time we were doing DSO. So I think I knew you were coming home by way of the other people. And then I couldn't get in contact with you. I think then I realized that you had been home for a while. And we were probably in the gym, and you weren't in the gym with us. And so it wasn't before long until I heard what had happened. I knew you were really devastated. You were broken down. And I just let you do your thing. And then eventually I think you got into the gym, and slowly but surely you got your groove back. And then we kind of, you know, got you rocking and rolling again. But I know it was a process that you were almost depressed or had symptoms, depressed, you know, you had some symptoms of depression.
It wasn't one of the best, man. It was, it got down to, like, you know, we finished up the season, and I was still waiting for my money, and they kept saying that they would pay, and then, you know, we ended up finishing like 4th place, which is excellent for that, and I was sitting there just like waiting around, and they didn't have a ticket home for me, they didn't have my money, they didn't have anything, man, and I was just, you know, the power was going out in the building. You know, I really didn't have any Wi-Fi or any data or any money to, you know, contact my family or contact you. I think that's what a lot of what it was. Nobody knew how. I had to go to like a cafe a few blocks away to get Wi-Fi, and I just remember just breaking down, man, just thinking like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not gonna be playing basketball around the world if this is how people are gonna be treating you in certain places, and it's ups and downs.
Sure.
Like, I could be suffering at home with my family around me versus lost in some country in Africa where they don't give a damn about me, you know? So that was wild. And I basically just, you know, I had a lot of spiritual reflection in that time as well too. And by means of like my family, my parents booked my ticket home for me. Yeah. That's crazy. My mom and dad bought my ticket home, and it was expensive because they wanted me to get out of there ASAP. And it was like the great escape. Like, I got in touch with somebody who got me my release to the exit visa. My teammate got his release for the exit visa. We hopped on the train. We took the train 6 hours to Casablanca. After Casablanca, you know, had a flight, you know, from Casablanca to JFK to like Chicago. I couldn't even get to the DTW. I couldn't even get to Detroit. My parents had to pick me up in Chicago.
Wow.
The most convenient flight that we could afford. So they land in Chicago, and then they ride over there to pick me up. And man, it felt good to be back in America.
I bet, man. But it's also that part of your story is also interesting because here it is, you've worked this hard and you're still experiencing setbacks. And I think sometimes people think that if they work incredibly hard, they feel like there should be no more adversity. And here you are, you working hard, and there was still adversity. And also, every overseas gig isn't always the best. And some people think they want this life, and you have to really make sure that you're ready for some of the peaks and valleys of not getting paid on time and having to develop the understanding of how certain countries work and how to negotiate things and how to stand up for yourself when you're in another country and you feel so vulnerable. There's so much more that goes into playing overseas. But then you get home, you take some time off, and then you get back in the gym and you start working out, and then go to your next your next stop.
So I get back and I'm grinding. I didn't have any money, so I was training at DSO like slave hours. You know, like I just got tunnel vision again. You know, I'm training, I'm working, I'm just trying to make ends meet just so I can get caught up on bills that I was late on. You know, so but I'm still finding time to work out. I get that next contract I got a new agent. You know, they heard about what I was doing in Morocco. Somebody saw some film that I put up, and new agency, because the previous agents actually were corrupt. They were working with that team and stealing my money and not getting paid. So I get a new agent. He pulls up Egypt. You know, they pull up a team that, you know, that functions correctly. They're organized. It's like, all right, man, I guess I'll give it a go. You know, I'm training with Marv. I'm training in the gym. I'm getting ready. I get out there. I have an excellent showing. You know, it's, you know, I'm going right back at it. I had one of my crazy highlights when I dunked over this one Egyptian dude. I think I cleared it by like a couple inches, took off. I sent that back home like, you know, Rob Anshila is back on things, man. Just golf on that, and it felt good. You know, I really wasn't where I wanted to be, but it felt good to be back there.
Yeah.
And that was the first step, you know, to like basically to, you know, rejuvenate my career, or let's say like the road to redemption, if you will.
Sure.
And the next step after that, I got it back out to the Middle East and Oman, over there by Dubai and stuff. So got out there, you know, and that season, breakout season. I don't remember what stats I averaged, something near like 27 and like 12 or something ridiculous. And
was that your MVP season?
That was my MVP season. Scoring champion, and we won the championship out there, and I was playoff MVP.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was a pretty good year for you.
Yeah, it was a pretty good year. It was a pretty good year. And it just, I don't know, it just brought me to, it brought a different kind of, that season, it just brought a different kind of fire in me. Like, I just knew what I had went through, and I just knew that, like, working too hard, I had so much on my chest, man. I just knew that, like, I wasn't about to settle for anything but, you know, going all the way and just turning things around, man. And, you know, that drive, you know, that something clicked in every fourth quarter. It was like do or die mode almost, you know. And then on top of that, I felt spiritually balanced. Like, I knew exactly where I was at, mentally, physically. Thankful for, like, you know, what I went through. It brought me to this point. You know, there was a lot of sacrifices, a lot of time, a lot of things, a lot of people around me telling me, like, wow, you should stop. And here I am, I'm still going.
Yeah.
So now I got this in my life. I had to show, like, I'm out here really doing this, like, it's really worth it. You know, so when I won that championship, when I had that picture up with the trophy and the, you know, the net around my neck and the medal around my neck and the MVP trophy as well, I was sitting there just like, you know, showed that up like, you know, this is a long time coming for this, man, and it felt great. From there on, it started increasing and started going uphill. Now my reputation as a champion started preceding me across the Middle East. I re-signed to the next team, and we're going to go play in the GCC tournament now. So now we get ready, we're gearing up. Us winning the championship allowed my team to increase the budget to bring another player in. That was exceptional. So we get this big 7'3" guy. We're going into the GCC tournament playing against, you know, ex-NBA vets, EuroLeague vets, actually some younger guys who went back to the NBA. The top competition that you'll get out there in the golf. I mean, it's some real goers, man. And we play against them. You know, we compete. We show it out. We didn't win anything going towards the semifinals or anything like that. But, you know, we showed out, and it was damn good. Yet again, the reputation I go to my season, and I started my season this year in Qatar. Just off of the reputation I had from the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And so, I went to Qatar. I left from there because they breached some contract stuff. Now I got options.
Yeah.
Went to Israel for a moment. Got to go, to Bethlehem and check out some places in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv.
That's when you were just chilling out there.
You thought I was chilling. I was putting in work.
Okay, man. It looked like you was chilling though, but go ahead, man.
Okay. So I come back, and then Australia, new market, new area, but the journey continues right now, and it's and I have to say, man, this is the best professional organization I've played for right now, and I'm playing some of my best ball, and I'm the healthiest, and I have some of the best resources while I'm at it too. And we didn't talk about lifestyle, so it's just been a sacrifice for the journey, bringing me towards something very much unexpected that I didn't think would happen.
And all while you did this, you got your master's degree.
Got my master's degree this past winter too, as well. And that master's degree actually began after I came back from Morocco, when I said I had to have a fallback. There's no way that I was going to let basketball only dictate just where I wanted to be. At that point, I just knew that it wasn't going to just be about one thing. It had to be about so much more. And I felt like there's a larger purpose in this. So at that moment, when I came back from Morocco, my parents took me home, I began doing online classes as well. And I finished that up this past December.
Well, listen, dude, I got 3% on my iPad, and I got 7% on my phone. I didn't charge you like I should have, but bro, I can't wait till you hear this story. I can't wait till you hear your own story. I know it's one thing for you to be present while you're saying it, and you're able to listen to it, but I think it's something else when you can hear your story and kind of hear me kind of point out some of the things that are really impressive, and just kind of reflect back on the journey. And sometimes we get so caught up in the destination that we think that that's what this is all about, the destination, getting there. And then when we go back and look at every stop, we realize how cool those stops were. Even though they may not have been cool, they may not have been cool while you were going through them. In retrospect, they might be cool. And what I've learned is we got to develop that ability to appreciate where we've been. You don't have to like it, but you have to appreciate it and understand that without that stop, there's no way you could have gotten where you are today, man. And so I got to have you on again, man, to talk basketball, to talk lifestyle, to talk whatever. I think you did real good. You did real good. You got a nice flow. You got a nice pace, details. You did a really, really good job, bro. And so I definitely want to have you on again to even talk about lifestyle and the different, and even talking about some of the ins and outs that you've learned of being a pro player that maybe hopefully somebody else in your position that's a little younger can learn from. So we got to have you on again.
Anytime, for sure. And then we can also have a discussion why I believe that LeBron is better than Jordan, because I heard your rant that you had.
Are you crazy?
Oh, we can talk about that as well.
Rob,
We can
bro.
pull up numbers, pull up film, we can pull up stats. I'm a huge MJ, but listen, sometimes you gotta tilt your hat. Anyways, though, as you were saying,
Bro, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you go because I only have a little bit of energy left, and in terms of these, I got tons of energy for you in this debate, but my technology doesn't. So with that being said, the next time we get on the phone, we will talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So get your stats, get your debate, get your argument, get it all ready, because that's what we talking about next time you're on the pod.
Yeah, you see, I did that when you got 3%, right?
You sure? You right, bro? Because you know me. Well, listen, man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna end this pod. But yes, definitely, we're gonna be talking soon. So get your stats ready.
All right, no doubt, always, man.
Appreciate it, Rob. Talk soon, man. Peace.
All right, peace.
That was my main man, Rob. Awesome story. I know some of it is kind of muffled. It goes in and out. But if you can just rock with us and bear with us for those moments where he's kind of muffled tonight, and just stick with us for the long call. His story is so amazing. 3 days during the season because he's not playing. Most kids, when they don't play, they mope. This dude goes out and puts in more work, and then he succeeds and gets a chance to reap the benefits of all of his work, and then goes through this moment where his team is winning, but he's not winning in life. And that forces him to start to go get his master's. It forces him to work hard, forces him to work harder, forces him to maybe work harder and smarter, and also forces him to develop a spiritual relationship. And I don't know if that spiritual relationship is God. It could be somebody else for you, but to understand it's a necessity to have a higher divinity that you can lean on that provides you with additional faith and belief, so that when you're going through tough times, there's something extra that you can lean on to help you get through the tough times. And his story is all of that, man. It's everything, man. So I hope that the audio is clear. I know some parts of it is, and some parts of it may not be, but hopefully you'll be intrigued, you'll be captivated enough to power through the muffled parts. But that's it. I'm gonna leave you with my closing mantra, which is: greatness lives on the edge of death, and I am not afraid to die. I will fight for my dreams. I will celebrate my dreams, and I will die for my dreams. Thoughts are things, and everything starts off as a thought first and springs from a place of mindfulness and clarity. My name is Mar Fikes Jr., Rob Anshila, a.k.a. The Vet. He inspired me, man, and hopefully he's inspired you. My name is Mar Fikes Jr., and I am done.